Hello everyone, this is Cantor Gaston Bogomolny and I'm doing a live right now with a few guests who are going to come. This is from TAL, T.A.L, Transformation, Affection and Love, TAL Community Mental Health Center. Again, my name is Cantor Gaston Bogomolny and we are going to invite today, we have our beautiful clinical director of our center and who is also one of the major therapists who will have and then also she's one of our specialists with the holistic and alternative therapy as well. So here we are. I just have go about Paty Hernandez, Patricia Hernandez, and she is here with us. Okay, Paty, you're here. How are
Yes.
you?
Hola, hola. I am here. I'm super grateful. Not in the best lighting. I am actually in my car. I ended up leaving the clinic like after 5:30 and realized a lot of traffic I'm not used to. So
You know, Paty,
pulled over safely.
people are watching from all different places around the world, probably, and we some people don't know that in South Florida, actually, it was really thunderstorming and it's a huge amount of rain. So I'm happy that you rather being safe and parked, than actually trying to do this by driving, right?
Yeah.
So
Here's the little ring light, little dashboard light. But yes.
So, Paty, I just want to introduce a little bit, who you are. First of all, as I said before, Paty is our clinical director of TAL Community Mental Health Center. For those who don't know, TAL Community Mental Health Center is one of the first in North Miami Beach of integrative community mental health centers that combine both the conventional therapy and also the holistic and alternative techniques and therapy. And we are very, very grateful and also, that we have, and, we have many of our clinicians, therapists like Paty, who is a licensed clinical social worker. At the same time, Paty, has been working for years, if not decades, dealing also with different alternative and complementary therapies, such as, she's, for example, Paty, not only she had a dual master degree, in social work and became a licensed, social worker, but she also had a master in public health. But in addition to all that, Paty never stopped, thinking that there are ways of natural ways to really help people and to complement, to be complementary to the regular, the regular therapies that we call conventional. When you sit down with the therapist, and then you talk, and the different techniques there as well. But there are other ways that belong to the spirit, to the mind, and the soul that also can heal and can help in a way to a complete and a thorough type of healing. For example, Paty is is a Reiki master teacher. She has done mindfulness techniques, also the theta healing, and also wellness coach. I mean, she is really very complete, on the right and to the left, and everything we know it helps. And the cool thing that she's our clinical director, that means actually that she combines and she embodies what TAL is. So tell me a little more, Paty, and before, just for everyone who is not there and who doesn't know, if you want to know about TAL, you can always, call us to 786-830 855-5880. You can also go to our website and find us there as well. And you can contact us for anything that you might need, whether it's that you want to do the holistic approach, or you want to do the conventional therapy, so you want to do a whole package, or also maybe you want to be in one of our empowering life groups, also aka called also support groups, which today we're going to talk about with Paty. She's going to be leading a bunch of those, and one of those is the grief and loss. And so tell us a bit more, Paty, being a licensed clinical social worker and sounds so clinical in a way, how did you end up, with all the left side?
The Olive. Well, honestly, it began through grief and loss. And, Gaston, I just want to say before I even get started my story, I'm just so excited that the universe just like literally dropped me on your lap and was like, hey, come work with us. I'm like, yes, this sounds perfect. So it's definitely a community because holistic is about whole person and it takes a lot of different tools. So that's what I learned through grief and loss, through my own journey of grief and loss. Because I was actually in grad school when my sister was diagnosed with cancer, and a year and a half later, she passed away. But during her journey, she taught me about the holistic side, the therapy side, the eating greens, the mantras, the spiritual, and doing all these different techniques. I was like, what? I don't understand this. And I just kept learning because I wanted to understand. I wanted to help her because her choice was alternative medicine. And so when she passed away, it was actually the most beautiful experience I've had, apart from just getting married 2 days ago. Yeah, so apart from that, that was another next best beautiful thing because I got to witness her slowly transitioning to whatever other place that she's gonna go. And so what I've learned about grief is that there's moments, even 10, 11 years later, I still feel her, I think about her, I cry for her, and that's okay. So I feel like I'm on a mission to help people understand that grief, we all go through it, we all go through it differently. Let's talk about it and let's use different techniques because just talking about it, just therapy is not enough.
Paty, how are you? This is Marcela.
Hi,
Hi.
Marcella.
We're so excited to have you. Paty, as Gaston already mentioned, Paty, can you probably make it close? You were kind of breaking up when you were talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey? I mean, it was so exciting when we met before, and your journey in terms of being a therapist was all, you just mentioned about your journey, how you became somebody holistic and somebody spiritual, but we want to know a little bit about where you have been a therapist and that you went to different countries and all that stuff that is so awesome.
Yeah, well, just like grief is a journey, so has my life been a journey. I've been a therapist. I just knew I've always enjoyed helping people, and I actually did a career assessment, and they're like, you can be a teacher, you can be a therapist. I was like, I don't want to be a teacher, I'll be a therapist. So that's how I got into my bachelor's in social work. And then from there, I started working with at-risk teenage girls, living with them in a residential program. From there, I went and did Peace Corps. So that's also where I learned a lot about how people can hold their grief and create physical symptoms like anxiety, heart attack, diabetes, different things like that because of the grief that they're holding on. From there, I went to grad school, got a dual master's in social work and public health, worked with domestic violence, worked with grief, and then went through my own grieving process. So that's actually when my sister passed away. And then a year after my sister passed away, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And then she passed away like 4 years after that. So it was a lot in a few years. I was her caretaker. I put school on hold so I can come take care of her. And then I started kind of coming back. And I feel that my path as a holistic practitioner came because of my grieving journey. And then I got to add, oh, being a therapist, yeah, I can add that to my list of capabilities. And then I became a Reiki teacher. And so now I get to teach other social workers and therapists Reiki for their self-care, and then get to share it with their clients who maybe go through a crisis and say, hey, let's meditate for a moment, or let's take a deep breath, and there we go. And just that resets whatever it is, their sadness, their depression, whatever they're going, it's going to reset it for a moment.
Paty, you speak Spanish, do you? Cierto.
Sí.
Claro, claro que sí, habla español. Claro que sí.
Bueno, exacto. Mis padres son cubanos, me acabo de casar con un colombiano. No sé, a ver qué idioma, como mi acento va a salir, pero sí hablo español y eso me ha ayudado mucho porque he vivido en Nicaragua, en El Salvador, Nuevo México, y quiero trabajar y llevar también esto a Colombia y seguir con centros holísticos y seguir apoyando a la gente de manera de comunidad. Y por esto, grupo de duelo, quiero trabajar.
Una de las cosas que queríamos preguntarte, o más bien dejar saber a la gente, one of the things that we want to share with people is that we really believe that Patricia is the perfect match, right? The perfect match for TAL community mental health. You are the therapist, and you went through stuff. And besides that, you also have the combination of holistic with clinician. That's a holistic practitioner. No lo puedo llamar mejor.
Yeah, that's what I said before. She embodies, TAL. So it's beautiful. And you were talking, Patricia, one of the first empowering light support groups that she's going to be giving is grief and loss. And I want to read for you, Patricia, and I want you to probably to develop from there and continue a quote. As clergy, that I'm a senior clergy, and as a cantor, para-rabbinics, we deal with grief all the time. We as a life cycle events, we are all the time. We are in the baby namings, the births, circumcisions, to funerals, and it's tough. It's tough, to deal with this with congregants and with friends, with family. And there is a quote, that I read a few months ago, and I would like to read it to you all, and I would like to have your take from there and explain a little bit how you will deal also with your course and how you're going to approach the course, and the support groups. It says, grief, quote, is reaching out for someone who is always being there, only to find when you need them the most, one last time, they are gone. Lo voy a decir en español, dice que la traducción de español para grief sería específicamente, ¿cuál sería la mejor traducción de grief?
Duelo.
Sanación, no sé.
Before
we go there, for those that are getting in, thank you for those that wanted to be with us. This is TAL Community Mental Health Center. This is Marcela Gomez Bogomolny and Cantor Gaston Bogomolny. For those that we are a couple who decided to open, probably, Patricia, correct me, you're probably more in tune than this, but probably one of the first ones in Miami to combine clinical and holistic centers, or a few are, after you, of course.
Of course.
Yes, duelo. Gracias, Gaby. So the idea is for those we are located in North Miami Beach. I'm just writing down the website for those who wants to know. We are receiving some of the insurances. We're still working on the others. Estamos recibiendo algunos seguros, pero no todos. Si estás interesado, if you are interested in receiving holistic approaches en terapia individual, de pareja, o de grupo, the individual couples or group, then here we are. We are right now with our clinical director, Patricia Hernandez, quien es además de eso refleja lo que es TAL Community Mental Health Center. So now estamos hablando de el primer grupo. Nosotros estamos ahora empezando. El primer grupo es sobre padres, pero el primer grupo que Patricia va a dar es el que tiene que ver con duelo. There we go. Grief es duelo. Yeah, somebody said it for us.
El duelo y el dolor.
Yeah.
Patricia, what is the, like, when people go to these groups and they are so hard, like broken inside, what is it that this group help with? I mean, somebody went through this and is going through this. What does this work for only people who lost somebody after death or something else?
So that's a really good question. First, we explain what grief is. So grief and loss, it can be actually anything that has a traumatic response to it. So for example, last year, a lot of people went through grief and loss because they lost their lifestyle. Maybe they lost loved ones. Maybe they lost their home. They lost money. They lost their country, right? All of that is trauma and all of that is grief. And a lot of us, especially leaving your lifestyle or role transitions. So let's say in my case, I went from being the daughter, consentida, I was definitely this one, the baby of the family. I acted like it. I was like, look, awesome. And then I became the caretaker of my mother, right? That was such a life transition. I went through the grieving process, but I didn't know I was because I couldn't. I had to take care of her. I couldn't grieve that I was no longer in school. I was no longer with my friends. I was no longer this freedom. I was a nurse per se. And so that's what we're going to learn a lot in the group. In the education, we're going to talk about it's a good transitions and your roles. Maybe you're wearing one or two or three different hats. I've learned to know that grief is gradual. There's no time limit. There's no, it should be over at a specific time. If you just want to sit and cry, that's totally fine. Even if it's been like 10, 20, 30 years after this, the loss of whatever it is.
So let me translate for those that, la pregunta que le hice a Patricia fue, Patricia, esto se trata sobre duelo, pero este grupo puede participar otras personas porque que no hayan perdido a alguien específicamente, sino que es duelo, y ella mencionó precisamente esa parte. Ella mencionó que el duelo no es solo perder a alguien, el duelo también es perder tu estatus social, tu carrera, tu vida. Y bueno, ella mencionó una parte muy importante sobre, porque, a ver, recordemos que perder algo, perder un familiar, perder un amigo, perder una pareja, en cierta forma, un matrimonio, todo es, en cierta forma, todo eso es un duelo para vivir. Y menciona también su propia experiencia, como ella era la niña consentida, mimada de casa, y de un momento a otro le toca estar cuidando a mami y dejar de ser esa niña que siempre fue cuidada para cuidar a otro. Y fue a través del duelo sin darse cuenta. Did I translate kind of correct?
Perfecto.
Sí.
Yes, good practice. That was a great translation.
Bien, para aquellos que quieran llamar, quieran mandar un email, pues los teléfonos son bien fáciles. Son 786-830-5880. 786-830-5880. Algo bien importante, something really important, is that we have more than 5 languages among our therapists. This is so amazing. Tenemos más de 5 lenguas en nuestras terapistas. Tenemos hebreo, español, inglés,
creol,
francés,
portugués.
Y portugués. Sí.
Y soon we'll have también ruso.
Claro
que sí. Ahora, los grupos que se están ofreciendo a TAL, the groups that we are offering right now at TAL, there are 4 sessions each, right? Sometimes 5 sessions. So, Paty, what would you be covering in those 4 sessions or 5 sessions, and would it be enough? I mean, how would you deal with those sessions? La pregunta le estoy haciendo a Paty es cómo en 4 sesiones podemos realmente tratar de cubrir todos los temas que se puedan, dentro de lo que se pueda, y esta es la pregunta para Paty.
Okay, so first in English and then I'll translate. So basically, so we'll just keep taking turns. So what can you cover? It's kind of like going to individual therapy for sessions. Of course, you're not going to resolve it all, but it's going to be a stage where you get to feel support from others, get to process your grief, understand what is okay and normal and what's not. And then you'll learn, do I want more help or am I okay? And then maybe come back later. So, en los grupos, como va a ser 4 sesiones, no es como, es igual si vas como una terapeuta 4 veces. Todo no va a salir, todo no se va a resolver, pero es un inicio, un apoyo, estar con otra gente alrededor, aprendiendo sobre qué es el duelo, qué es la pérdida, qué es normal, qué está ok. Y de ahí, después de las 4 sesiones, va a decidir si quiere trabajar más en grupo o quiere trabajar con una terapeuta o quiere recibir Reiki o quiere trabajar yoga. Vamos a hablar de cosas que pueden hacer. So after 4 sessions, group sessions, we're going to talk about what can you do. Do you want individual therapy, more group therapy, yoga, Reiki? We'll be able to offer, but this is a start. Así vamos a empezar con el grupo.
I'm going to be a little nosy, and you just mentioned something. Reiki. What the heck is that? What can we teach people? I mean, let's go back.
How do you spell it?
Yeah. See. So wait. Okay. So algo que la gente mucho le da miedo hacer es ir a grupo, ¿sí? Porque tiene miedo de que otros sepan su dolor o de que otros escuchen sus miedos. Pero no hay nada más terapéutico, yo a mi gusto, o sea, la terapia individual es muy potente, pero la terapia individual, la terapia grupal es de lo más potente que he visto en mi vida.
Mm-hmm.
¿Sí? So I'm just saying that group therapy, people usually sometimes is afraid to go to group therapy because they don't want to share their information, they don't want to share their feelings, and they're afraid, their fears. However, as a clinician, as a social worker, and it's one of the most effective tools because you feel strong. And while she was talking about that, she mentioned you decide what you want to do afterwards. And then she mentioned something called Reiki. Reiki, it's one of her specialties. El Reiki es una de las especialidades de Patricia. Y yo sé que estamos hablando de grief and loss, but un chinchín de qué es Reiki, porque, cuando la gente termina de hacer terapia grupal, se puede enamorar de recibir algunos tratamientos de Reiki, en donde lo que se trabaja es como desbloqueo, ¿verdad? So, can you explain to us a little bit? It's like unblocking what is Reiki, what it's all about, and how it helps in a therapeutic way.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Reiki in a nutshell is spiritual healing. So we get to connect with the energy source around us. It flows through and helps us to relax our mind and our body. And so, entonces en español, Reiki es una sanación de energía de la espiritualidad. Entonces va a creer y saber que va a entrar una energía por la gente que lo están dando para ayudar con sentir más paz y tranquilidad. So when you're feeling calm and relaxed, that's really when so much healing happens. I'll give you an example, and this is how it works for me. After my sister died, she was my best friend, my soulmate, my everything. She was like my life partner. Like we were talking about planning after college, going to live together, start a business, like go travel. Like it was my thing. When she passed away, I didn't realize it, but unconsciously I closed my energetic heart. I was like, I don't feel anymore. That hurt so much. So I went to Reiki, and that eventually helped me to relax enough to open up my heart so I could cry, so I could process, and the pain wasn't so strong. It didn't stop me from living my life, but I was able to like cry and just be like felt safe. It's like a big virtual hug. Or I wouldn't say at virtual, but like energetic hug. You can't see it, but you can really feel that intense hug.
Can I translate?
Yeah.
Okay. So, le preguntamos a Patricia sobre que ya hablamos de quién es Patricia, todo para aquellos que están llegando. Este está el Community Mental Health Center, nuestro nuevo bebé, nuestro hijo que está saliendo, naciendo, y Paty es una de nuestras
Niñera. Niñera.
ella es nuestra directora clínica. Y Paty, aparte de ser experta, pues es una terapeuta, pues obviamente licenciada y demás, tiene una gran experiencia en el área de pérdida de duelo, pero también ella mencionó, estábamos hablando de la importancia de la terapia de grupo, y la terapia de grupo te trae también a darte cuenta cuando quieres más. Y ese más lo vamos a dar aquí también, y es la terapia individual, y ese más, ella mencionó lo que se llama Reiki. Entonces nosotros pues aquí le preguntamos, ¿y eso qué es? Reiki es, y me vas a corregir, Paty, Reiki es como el arte de sanar la energía de una persona para ayudarse a desbloquear y poder sentir mejor, poderse dar la oportunidad de llorar la muerte de su ser querido o la separación de lo que amaba, y aprender a de pronto a sanar a través de ese desbloqueo. ¿Lo hice
Sí.
bien?
Perfecto. Perfecto.
I'm gonna get a job as a translator. I mean, this was not a
Yeah.
direct translator, but yeah.
Now,
That was a good summary.
I have a question, Patty, and also for Marcela, but every time most of the time, a lot of times, when I talk to different people and we talk about support groups, some people are skeptical, about support groups because they are very private, and so, but it's still that we know at TAL, Community Mental Health Center, we know very well that actually support groups, that's what we call empower and light groups, support groups, are very beneficial. Could you speak clinically, from the clinical point of view, what are the benefits to really be in a group or to complement with a support group in addition to individual therapy? What are the benefits to really in a support group?
And this is evidence-based practice.
Of course, that's why I say clinically talking about.
For sure. Well, I mean, it's definitely, there's a lot of studies proving the benefits of group therapy, because really what it is, once you establish confidence and trust within the group, then that some people feel better to release whatever they want, whatever feelings they have, because they trust. And then they get to hear other people who feel the same way that they do, or they experience something similar. For example, I've been part of groups of parents who've lost children. And when one mother talks about that she lost her baby at 2 years old, talking with a father who lost their son at 17, they both feel the pain, and they're like, you get me. You understand me. And then it's like, oh, thank God, it's not going crazy. So that's what they get to hear over and over and over, which is the benefit of group therapy. Individual therapy is one-on-one. So all you're really hearing is yourself just talking a lot, which is great, and then having it repeated back to you by a therapist, pointing out blocks.
One of the comments that I've heard from the community around us here in North Miami Beach is that no, the Jewish community, especially the one in Argentina, they are afraid to talk about their own feelings. They're afraid to show their embarrassed, whatever. And so they were telling me, this could be probably a challenge, and we're willing to take that challenge. nosotros estamos dispuestos a tomar el challenge. Escuchamos muchas veces que no, que la comunidad local, que de pronto está asustada, la parte local aquí en North Miami Beach, la comunidad judía argentina, la comunidad judía le da como miedito venir y contar sus cosas, etcétera, etcétera. Yo le dije, no importa, lo necesitamos, de verdad que sí. Y de hecho, por eso mismo, T.A.L. Community Mental Health Center tiene varias personas. Tenemos de la comunidad haitiana que también tiene bastante miedo de trabajar sus emociones y sanarlas. También tenemos a la comunidad desde Brasil. De hecho, con nosotros acaba desde Brasil, hace parte de nuestro equipo. ¿Sí? También tenemos a Nerissa. Nerissa is right there. She's one of our geniuses in arts therapy. She's there with us, arts support healing programs that we have. Y queremos dejarles saber la importancia del group therapy, porque es que cuando tú escuchas a otro, tú sabes si sanaste lo que él también está viviendo, o él te retoca el botón y vuelves y lloras un ratito. Y vuelves y lloras un ratito hasta que te sanas. You learn from the others. You learn to learn from others and being humble. Because being humble is part of the game. Es parte de la oportunidad. Ver a otro hablar y verte en él te da la oportunidad de decir, wow, me vi ahí, me vi en esa persona. Paty, no, let's give them a break. ¿Quién quiere preguntar algo? Who can ask any questions? Anything regarding Reiki, regarding grievance loss or group therapy? Alguien que tenga una pregunta sobre terapia, sobre Reiki, sobre grupo. I cannot read. You're gonna have to see it.
Yeah, so aquí Mirta está diciendo, los grupos con problemas similares ayudan mucho. Yeah, so the groups with similar problems or challenges help a lot because, again, it's kind of like, I'll give you an example, and this is non-clinical, but when a woman goes to a hair salon or a man goes to a barber shop, guess what is happening? It's usually like non-clinical therapy, but it's people talking about their problems, talking about their challenges. Somebody in the back being like, yes, I totally understand. Like, no, he didn't. I can't believe it. Did you get mad? Guess what? That's like non-clinical group therapy. But it's you feel empowered with other people. And that's what, obviously, we're not going to take it like that. We're going to be much more structured and supportive. Well, as you can explain and see, when you go into group settings and you trust who you're around, you're more likely to be honest about what's going on with you. Once you're honest and you let go of whatever pain you're holding on to, you feel better. And that's what we're here to help you with.
That's just beautiful. We say, and Nerissa, by the way, as you said, Nerissa is going to be the one, one of the ones who's going to be working with healing through the arts. And she have a group that she's going to be working with, also hopefully starting in January, called For the Health of It. And it's just beautiful. And thank you, Nerissa, because she just donated also one of her
She's going to be with us. She's going to be here in live very soon, telling us what is all that good about.
Very soon. And she said that individual therapy and group therapy go hand in hand. I mean, it's almost probably the best compliment that you can have. I mean, it's a supplement and it's a complement. It's, the more you can experience a whole thorough package. And that's what T.A.L is about. Just in case for those who just came in, por los que acaban de entrar, Marcela Gómez Bogomolny, Cantor Gastón Bogomolny, estamos los dos dueños de T.A.L, owners of T.A.L Community Mental Health Center, our dream come true, our new baby, speaking and hablando con Paty Hernandez, our clinical director, and also one of our holistic practitioners, and a lot of other things. And here's who we are for.
There is another question.
I have a question.
Yes, Mirta says, I want more explanation about Reiki. Let's do it in Spanish, Patricia, el Reiki. Un poquito más detallado. Yo sabía.
Ok, bueno. La cosa de Reiki es que la manera en que se aprende es que pasa de un maestro a un estudiante de Reiki. Pero la realidad es que todo mundo puede sanar en una manera u otra con tus manos, pero cada quien tiene más don. Entonces, con Reiki es una sanación utilizando energía y conectando con la espiritualidad. Puede ser los ángeles, guías espirituales. Esto lleva el woo-woo para otro lado, pero funciona excelente. Porque no se puede explicar, pero se siente. Y se puede practicar a la distancia, se puede hacer en persona. Yo hago ambos, yo tengo clientes internacional, local, en inglés, español. Tiene que creer en Reiki, simplemente es decir, sí, yo quiero recibir. Y va a sentir la energía correr y va a ayudar a mover cualquier bloqueo emocional que tiene, porque lo va a sentir y se va a sentir mucho más tranquila, relajada. Y eso es el propósito, queremos sentir menos estrés y más relajados. Yo sí me apunto.
So the beauty, muchas gracias, Paty. The beauty of T.A.L, and this is, I'm not going to get tired of repeating this. No me voy a cansar de repetir. T.A.L is very unique. Es un lugar único porque combina todo. It combines everything. It's you come and almost like you go to the spa, but you get the whole evidence-based, scientific-based clinical therapy. At the same time, you get, in the package, you get a holistic approach technique that will complement, the conditions that you need to work on, the conditions that you want to be helped with in order for eventually to heal. And at the same time, also you get the support groups and so many other things. Just call us, go to the website, don't look farther. You are just on the right place when you come to T.A.L.
One extra thing, these techniques are given by masters clinical people. See, they're all mostly masters and degrees in mental health and social work, and those that do give other disciplines are also master's degrees. Gente muy educada, la mayoría de nuestra gente en T.A.L Community Mental Health Center, todos son personas de muchos años de experiencia, son clinicians con licencias, maestrías, doctorados en sus áreas de forma clínica y de forma holística. Así que estás recibiendo the crème of the crème y somos de los pocos un centro Community Mental Health Center completo. Gracias a todos los que están con nosotros esta noche. Porque este es el principio de un bebé que va a crecer bien rápido.
Una pregunta espectacular, the great question actually I got from Albani here that said, how do I know if I need to join the grief group? ¿Cómo yo sé que yo tengo que ir a uno de estos grupos de apoyo de duelo y dolor?
Okay, buena pregunta. So I'll answer it first in English. How do you know if you need to join the grief group? One, if you say, do I need? Then yes, I would say that's the first step. The second is when you call us to find out more about the grief and loss group, we do an assessment. We want to make sure that you're the best fit and we're the best fit for you. Because not everyone is okay with talking in a group. And so we have to assess where you are in your grieving process and what support would be best. Would it be a group setting or individual, and then maybe pass to group? So that's how we find out. Entonces, ahora en español, la pregunta es, ¿cómo sé si necesito participar en el grupo de duelo? Bueno, si está diciendo lo necesito hacer, eso va a ser como que la primera opción que sí. Venga, pero más que nada lo importante es que cuando llama a T.A.L para preguntar más información, vamos a hacer un proceso, vamos a hacer una encuesta para asegurar que puede y si desea cumplir las reglas que vamos a tener en el grupo y si es la mejor forma para ayudarle durante su duelo o si no para trabajar directamente con una terapeuta individual y después pasar al grupo.
Perfect. I guess we'll cover everything, no?
For today, I guess we did.
Muy importante. We're going to be doing this with each of the therapists. We're going to be talking about the conditions that we're going to be helping to heal, to work with. Every group is going to support you in your own way, meaning for your own condition. But we're also going to work with different kinds of groups, from anxiety to depression, for clergy, for diplomats, for military families. Also, we're going to work with a lot of groups I've never worked with. La gente no trabaja con estos grupos mucho. Vamos a tener también postpartum depression, y también vamos a tener pues muchos otros grupos que prefiero no contar todos esta noche. Los esperamos en la próxima. ¿Quién es la próxima? Yo creo que va a ser Rachel.
It will be the therapeutic yoga.
Right. So,
okay.
Because
I sign up.
Yes, me too. Please. And I think it's Rachel or Nerissa. We're going to talk about how movement. Paty, we didn't talk about that piece. You also give.
That's
a
whole different. Yes, we can be here.
We'll talk about it later.
Talking about all the different things I do.
I used to dance. I used to be a dancer. Yo era bailarina. Y tenía el baile me ayudó mucho a recuperar mi autoestima, y a desbloquear mi energía. Entonces, el bailar es terapéutico y el moverte es terapéutico, y tenemos terapeutas dedicadas al movimiento, entre ellos el yoga, para trabajar el self-esteem, la depresión y la ansiedad, con respiración. That's going to be awesome.
Sí, dicho sea de paso, voy a tirar. I'm going just to talk about just one of the groups I'm going to do, which is going to be working the self-esteem, anxiety, also stress through singing. And as you know, I also study, voice pedagogy. So I that's going to be such a group as well, to really sing out loud.
Sí. So we're gonna talk about all of that stuff. I guess we're gonna have to get going because people are gonna sleep over now. With that. Es un solo placer para nosotros traer este bebé al mundo, y con todas las personas que nos están apoyando, que están con nosotros. Gracias, Paty, por tus expertise, por tu ayuda, por tu tiempo, sobre todo por lanzarte con nosotros en este nuevo sueño.
Exacto, gracias, y todo el mundo que está aquí presente nos puede mandar un mensaje, un DM a T.A.L, y le podemos contestar cualquier cosa. So everybody who's here, just send us a direct message through T.A.L, and we're here to help you in any way, answer any questions.
Excellent. Okay, guys, I guess it's time to go. ¿Algo más?
Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Get back home safely. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.